Good evening. Welcome to the Township of Abington's Board of Commissioners meeting for Thursday, September the 14th, 2017. And may we have a roll call, please?
Here.
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 Here. Be advised, Commissioner Spiegelman is running late, but he will be here. Thank you. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Before we get started, I'd like to make an announcement that an executive session was held on Wednesday, September the 6th, 2017, following the committee meetings at 7 p.m. to discuss personnel and legal matters. At this time, we'll move into our presentations, and I'd like to call on Fire Marshal Ken Clark.
Mr. President.
It will be Assistant Fire Marshal John Roy.
Thank you, Commissioners. Commissioners, in a few moments, you're going to be introduced to some fine, outstanding young men and women who have voluntarily joined the ranks of the fire department to carry out a proud tradition of providing services to this township and our constituents. I'll call on the Fire Service Administrator, Dave Sham, and if Commissioner Schreiber could join us, please.
The students that we're honoring tonight completed the program we call Firefighter One, which is the entry-level firefighter program. You should know that it's 216 hours over 45 sessions. The program began last February and it ran through the end of June. The classes are conducted in all kinds of weather, and you should know that they're all done at our magnificent fire training facility. Some of the topics that these students learn as they go through the program: first aid, CPR, building construction, fire behavior, search and rescue, the list goes on, hazardous materials, vehicle fires, ropes, fire extinguishers, ladders, fire hose deployment. And then at the end of the program, they have to take a written test in order to be eligible for the Firefighter One certificate, and they have to demonstrate that they can perform the skills that I just mentioned. Outside evaluators come in and evaluate their ability to perform the skills that they learned during the class. So it's quite an achievement. So tonight, we would like to honor the following students who are with us tonight. I'll start with Aubrey Brigidi. Yeah.
No. Line them up. Steals the show.
Mark Brown. Ryan Brown. Josh Dolan. Josh. Mackenzie Griner. Jennifer Kingsbury. Sydney Schwartz. And Jared Stevenson. Okay. Okay, thank you. The lead instructor who puts this program together and supervises each of those 45 classes that I mentioned, including the written and practical skills testing, is our community service specialist, Jeff Glenn, who will have a couple of closing remarks.
Thanks, Steve. All right, Commissioners, first I want to thank some folks to make this possible for all these students to go through these programs. As you know, we have 5 companies here in the township, and to make it a full class, we invite other departments into our program from the consortium. So we usually end up, this class was 22 in the class, which each company provides apparatus and equipment necessary for each skill that Dave mentioned. All right, we wouldn't do it without the 5 companies and some of the outside companies that bring apparatus in to perform the skills that they must do. So I want to thank the chiefs for providing the equipment that we needed to put this program on. Thank you very much for the personnel that come with that equipment, and it really works out well to be able to do everything here at Abington Township. All right, they don't have to go to Montgomery County, they don't have to go to Bucks County for classes, they're right here in their hometown. So that makes it just that much better. Gives them a couple more minutes at home, and those family members that are here tonight, I thank you for sharing these folks with me for almost 3 months or 3.5 months that it takes to get through this program. This program, as Dave mentioned, is 216 hours. We meet Tuesday night, Thursday night, and Sundays, 4 hours, and 8 hours on the Sunday, until the whole program's completed. They walk away with hazardous materials awareness, and just understand it, all these principles are pro-board IFSAC principles, meaning it's nationally recognized. They can take that anywhere down the road if they choose to become a career firefighter. We always hope, again, that they stay here in the community, and most do. So that's our benefit of running these programs. So, and Commissioners, again, with our beautiful facility over the years, you've given us capital money to work through different add-ons, and that's really made a big benefit for us in the fire service. So I'd like to thank you all, one and all. And congratulations again to all the students here. It was a good class and they worked very well together. One of the big words that we use is communication, and this class was communicated very well. And I thank you very much for hanging in there with me for all those weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Again, our congratulations to the Abington Township firefighters who just graduated. Congratulations to all of them and to their families, and we thank you for all the service that they provide for us in the township. At this time, I'm honored to call on Commissioner Laurie Shriver to present an award to a real man, a gentleman, and a friend of mine, Mr. Lawrence Larry Jackson.
Good evening, everyone. Weird seeing it from this side, isn't it, when you're used to being up there. So, Gwen, would you mind coming up here? This is Larry's wife, Gwen. I want to tell everybody a little bit about when I first met Larry Jackson and relay a little story, and then I'll read the accommodations and present that to you. But I think I met Larry, you know what, I don't remember exactly, but I think it was door knocking the very first time I ran for commissioner. So I think I met him 12 years ago. I'm not really sure. But somehow in our original conversation, I thought I heard him say he was a bus driver. And he told me he wanted to get involved in something, that he was retired and he was looking for something to do. So a couple days went by, or a week, or however long, and I heard something about they needed bus drivers. So I thought I was being a really nice person. I recontacted him either by email or phone, I forget now, and left a message saying I had heard about a bus driving job. So the next day, I get a packet at my door. It says, "Lori, now you know a little more about me other than the bus driver." Anybody who knows Larry knows he was not a bus driver. There's nothing wrong with being a bus driver, but he was very proud of his career as a Pennsylvania State Trooper. So I'd like to pass around the pictures that were in that packet so that people can get an idea of what was in the packet and his career and how meaningful it was. Somehow, after that mistake that I made, we did become friends. We knew each other for all of those 12 years. He came to my 50th birthday party, and we continued to be friends. Here at the township, he did want to get involved and was often at very many events, but he eventually joined the Human Relations Commission. We put him on there, and he was a very good member, and we have members of the Human Relations Commission here tonight, so I'm not sure if they might want to say some words as well. But while that's going around, let me read this to you. You know what, I'm going to leave this in the bag so you can take it in there. Okay. Lawrence Larry Jackson, the Abington Board of Commissioners salutes the accomplishments and dedication of our neighbor, Larry Jackson, a retired Pennsylvania State Trooper. Larry had a long list of career and community accomplishments, most recently including his 5 years as a member of the Abington Township Human Relations Commission. The board joins with his family, friends, and neighbors in remembering and acknowledging his life, a life well lived.
I accept this award on behalf of my late husband, Larry Jackson. He was very proud to be a member of the Human Relations Commission. I appreciate the acknowledgement. Thank you very much.
Did anyone else from the Human Relations Commission want to say anything before we move on? Thank you.
I actually didn't have anything prepared. My name is Joanne Kleiner. I'm the chair of the Human Relations Commission. And I had the pleasure and honor of meeting Larry 5 years ago when our commission was formed. Larry, I can't begin to tell you how much it meant to him to be a member of the commission. I can't say it was his proudest achievement because I didn't know him until 5 years ago, but I think it probably was. He was immensely, immensely proud of it. He loved his time with us. When he first became ill, one of the first things he did was send us his resignation, and we refused it. And we said, "We love you, Larry. We're not letting you resign." And he was somebody that we didn't know before, and he became like family to us, and we loved him, and we're just thrilled that he's being honored tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Joanne, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I thought it would be very compelling if you made comments on behalf of the commission to the family. Thank you very much. Okay. At this time, we'll move on with our formal business, and I'll ask or call on Commissioner Vice President Stephen Klein for approval of the minutes.
Thank you, President Luker. I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of our Board of Commissioners meeting of August 10th, 2017, and I so move.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. At this time in our meeting, we come to the period where we ask for public comment on agenda items only. Only items that are on our agenda for discussion this evening. So if anyone would like to come forward, or if anyone signed up, we have a 3-minute speaking limit. And if you would adhere to that, we would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Laura Lehman, 1431 Bryant Lane. And I haven't had a chance to look through the whole agenda, so this is my list, and the agenda list don't always G up. So we're okay on that. Okay, so my comments are going to be on non-agenda items. But we did say in the speaking rules that people could come up first if the chair allowed it. But people don't know that that's an option. So if the chair could offer that so that people know that if they want to make their end of the meeting general comments first, that would be helpful. Thank you.
You're correct. Thank you. Any other comments from the public on agenda items only? Okay, and if there are none, at this time, we'll move forward with our formal agenda, and I'll call on Commissioner Tom Hecker, Director of the Public Works Committee.
Thank you, President Luker. The Public Works Committee has one item of business this evening, and this is PW1, and this is a motion to accept the award of the Small Water and Sewer Grant from the Commonwealth Financing Authority in the amount of $100,000. The grant requires a match of 15% or $15,000, which will be funded from the wastewater capital account number 17-10-851-7495, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes.
That concludes the business of the Public Works Committee.
Thank you, Commissioner Hecker. Next, we'll call on Commissioner Ben Sanchez, Director of Code Enforcement Land Development.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has none of its technical business at this time, but we do have some unfinished business, which is an appointment, and this is a motion to appoint Commissioner Kenneth Brodsky to the Code Enforcement and Land Development Committee, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes.
Mr. President, that concludes the business of the Code Enforcement and Land Development Committee for this evening.
Thank you, Commissioner Sanchez, and welcome aboard, Commissioner Sanchez. Okay. Moving right along, at this time, I'd like to call on Commissioner Laurie Shriver, Director of the Public Safety Committee.
Thank you, Commissioner Luker. PS1 is a motion to adopt ordinance number 2140, amending Chapter 156, Vehicle and Traffic, Article 2, Traffic Regulations, Section 10, U-turns, and Section 14, Stop intersections, and Article 3, Parking Regulations, Section 25, Parking prohibited at all times, no parking between signs, no parking here to corner, parking prohibited except certain hours, no stopping or standing, and Section 28, Special Purpose Parking Zones. The ordinance shall be amended to add parking restrictions to Keswick Avenue and Menlo Avenue, Central Avenue, Rydell Road, Spear Avenue, Garfield Avenue, Parkdale Avenue, Old Welsh Road, and I don't even know how to say it. Osceola Avenue, and to repeal parking restrictions at Curtis Avenue and Osceola Avenue. And I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes.
And PS2 is a motion to adopt ordinance number 2142, an ordinance amending Chapter 155, Traffic Control, Article 1, Automated Light Enforcement System, Section 155-17, expiration, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Comments from staff? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
Opposed.
I'm sorry.
Opposed?
Opposed.
3.
Do your motion carry?
Okay, I'm sorry. The motion passes. Thank you.
Yes. And that concludes our agenda this evening.
Thank you, Commissioner Shriver. At this time, I'd like to call on Commissioner John Spiegelman, Director of the Public Affairs Committee.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Tonight, Public Affairs has one formal item and one announcement regarding unfinished business. Our formal item is PA1. This is a motion to adopt ordinance number 2141, amending Chapter 8, Economic Development Committee, Section 2, Membership, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Staff? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes.
And, Mr. President, I'm going to read the unfinished business item and then hand things back over to you, if I may. The unfinished business is the consideration of the appointment of Michael Markman to the Township Economic Development Committee to fill a term expiring December 31st, 2018. And now back to you, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Spiegelman. We're going to move this item to our October committee meeting as it's going to require further discussion on our current rules and procedures for appointment. Both will be voted on at the next board meeting in October. So with that, I turn it back to you, Commissioner Spiegelman.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. That concludes the business of the Public Affairs Committee.
Thank you, Commissioner Spiegelman. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Vice President Stephen Klein, Director of the Finance Committee.
Thank you, President Luker. I'd like to call on Treasurer Jay Blumenthal for the Treasurer's report.
Thank you, Commissioner Klein. As for the monies deposited in the Republic Bank for the various departments for the month of August 2017, it was a total of $3,000,06860. Last year was $3,740,863, with a decrease of $734,003. As compared to the year-to-date, we have a year-to-date of $52,147,474, compared to last year of $51,461,360. So we have a positive year-to-date of $686,114. As for the real estate taxes that were transferred to the Finance Department for last month also, we have a total here of for the month of $37,261, year-to-date $26,345,516, with a balance to collect of $764,279. If you compare to the month to last year's month of August, which was $41,004, there's a decrease of $3,743, which to me is insignificant. As for year-to-date, we're 97% collected. Last year, year-to-date for August, we were 96%. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Treasurer Blumenthal. FC1, motion to approve investments for the month of July as previously circulated to the board. It was noted that investments for the month totaled $1,012,000 $20,000. Interest rate yields range from 1.25% to 1.5%, and I so move.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners or staff? There are none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
FC2, motion to A, approve the July expenditures as previously circulated to the board in the amount of $3,671,906.11, and salaries and wages in the amount of $1,895,738.96. And B, authorize the proper officials to sign vouchers in payment of bills and contracts as they mature through the month of October 2017, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. May we have a roll call, please?
Yes.
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 FC3, motion to approve the advance and travel expense activity for July 2017 as previously circulated to the board. Advance and travel expense reports were $0 and $2,274.21 respectively. 7-month expenses totaled $17,879.09, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff? There are none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes.
FC4, motion to approve the clearing fund, the deferred revenue expense activity and petty cash balances for the month of July as previously circulated to the board. Clearing fund receipts and disbursements for the month of July 2017 were $859.13 and $2,441.62 respectively. Deferred revenue expense receipts and disbursements for the month of July 2017 were $948.13 and $322.12 respectively, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from commissioners or staff? If there are none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes.
And that concludes the Finance Committee's agenda.
Thank you, Vice President Stephen Klein. At this time, I'd like to call on Commissioner Tom Bowman, Director of the Pension Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Pension Committee has one item on the agenda. This is Resolution Number 17-025, Minimum Municipal Obligation Pension Plans. This is a motion to approve for adoption by the Board of Commissioners, Resolution Number 17025, recognizing that the Township's minimum municipal funding obligation for the calendar year 2018 with respect to the municipal non-uniform employee, police, and non-uniformed employee defined contribution pension plans is $552,359, $1,818,362, and $27,687 respectively, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Comments from staff? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes our business.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowman. That concludes our formal agenda, so at this time, I'm going to ask for comments from the public on non-agenda items. Please come forward to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes if possible. Thank you.
Laura Lehman, 1431 Bryant Lane. Can you add a minute for every year we come before you regularly, every meeting?
Subtract.
Just as a reward. So, first of all, we had some very major stuff happen at the committee meetings. I asked for the most recent public speaking to compare it with what I had, and what I had was not the correct version, so that was interesting. I was interrupted over a dozen times by Mr. Spiegelman while trying to make a point that in the end nobody in the public understood, because I was never able to make my comments properly.
Direct your comments to me, please. Thank you.
I don't think there's any problem. So that was an interruption that was unnecessary. If my eyes went to someone else, I don't tell you where to put your eyes, and often the eyes here are down.
Continue your comments, please. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, this is a problem. The interruption of our comments is a problem. and I was in the middle of telling you that when you interrupted. Okay, so I didn't direct those comments to him.
Ms.
I was
Lehman,
directing them
move
to
on,
you.
please. Thank you.
That's also an unnecessary interruption. I was directing those comments to you, and I looked over at him. So we have people doing business in this township that all of you at this point, I think, have seen that in very simple and plain English, I believe your solicitor has misled you as to what the laws say. This is of great concern to me because in that particular case, there were possibly millions of dollars, if you add them all up, that in a township where we're being told there's not enough money to investigate all the crimes, there's not enough money to put towards the DNA to speed that up. So it's a huge issue when our monies are being squandered by people who are not being properly supervised in this township. So that's something that needs your attention desperately. Also, the safety issues that arose from all of that, again, they're still there. Safety issues that arise from your using our money in a way that is frivolous and abusive. So I would like to see that we get this corrected. There are people in this township who tried at the last meeting to deceive the public that was listening, and by being cut off by certain commissioners, the public did not hear correctly. So I'm going to say correctly now what should have been said at the last meeting. We have an entity doing business in this township who has worked under a fictitious name, a name that is not their own, and they never registered that name. The law says that if they don't register that name, they have no right to bring suit. They, the entity, has no right to bring suit in a Commonwealth court. That entity has brought suit again and again and again. The law does not say that the fictitious name may not bring suit. It says that the entity who has not properly registered is not allowed to bring suit. Okay? That entity was Old York LLC. One of the names that it didn't register, but it did business under, was the Colonnade. And the Colonnade name is even used freely in the lawsuits, while they're also operating as 100 York. The whole purpose of the fictitious name law is to have people be able to know who they're doing business with clearly. And it is not being policed in this township. So please do that. I have other comments as well. I will forego the other comments, but I would like to know, I'd like to be on a list when the next court date is coming up in October, because there's a chance that you could last minute cancel it, and I would like to be notified. Okay. So even though I can look it up, I won't get that last minute cancellation or change. So I would ask that favor. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other comments from the public? Name and address, sir?
I'm sorry?
Name and address?
Oh, yeah, no problem. Nate Sugarman, 1245 Minell. Something came to light within the last week. They're going to be doing some construction next door at 1235 at Minell. And they're going to be coming onto my property only because the township has a right-of-way, and they've given the guy the right to come onto my property to do his utility work. Now, my cousin is an attorney who is letting me know that I do have some exposure, because they will, since they will be on my property, if they're digging an excavation, a trench collapses, technically I'm going to be one of the named plaintiffs. Since the township gave this guy the right to come onto my property, I'm asking the township to identify me and the property, so anything that happens, it's out of my hands. Now, 1 week ago today, exactly 1 week ago, last Thursday, there were 2 construction accidents in the city. I mean, one was in northeast Philly, a bulldozer ran over a guy. And you wonder, how could that happen? Because the operator would see him going forward, and when the bulldozer is going backward, it has an alarm. So you would think that would never happen, but it did. The guy was killed. And also on the same day in Collegeville, they were raising a piece of steel. They lost it. The guy was hit. I don't know what his outcome was. But what I'm trying to say is, you know, I got my property bought and paid for. I don't want to lose it because of some negligence from some contractor coming onto my property. Since the township has given this guy the right to come onto my property because of the right-of-way, I'm asking that the township indemnify me and the property, so whatever happens, happens, and it's out of my hands. I have no control. I mean, I don't want the guy on my property, but it's not my choice.
Okay, have you talked to anyone at the township about this?
You're the first. I didn't know where else to go.
All right, why don't we get his name and address, and we'll contact you after the meeting, okay?
Who do I talk
Whose
to?
ward is this in?
I heard it's on Minot, which is in Ward 2, but I don't know, I didn't hear the address.
Okay, while he's passing that information on to the township, Mike?
Mr. President?
Yes, sir. Mike Powers, yes.
Yeah, I believe
Mike
it's
Powers, our township engineer.
This is a subdivision that was approved in Ward 2. Michael Markman was commissioner at that time.
Right.
What they're doing is they're connecting to the sanitary and storm line goes to his property by right-of-way, and the connection from the subdivision is being tied into those lines. So that's the construction that's going on. I guess we'd have to turn to Michael Clark for any legal advice as far as what we should do. As far as we've done this a million times, and these are our right-of-ways, and these are our systems that we maintain. We have rights to go on the property to maintain the systems as well as that. But this is the first I've heard about, you know, him being sued if something gets hurt. The contractor has insurance; he's fully insured. So,
well, it sounds like this is the first everybody's heard of this. So I don't
Right.
expect the answer to come up tonight. Mr. Manfredi, did you want to say something?
Yeah, very simply, we have the gentleman's name and telephone number.
Right.
We'll reach out to him. We'll
Right.
find out the details, if it's in our right-of-way, if it's not in our right-of-way.
Right.
Obviously, Mr. Powers or someone from engineering will be involved as well, and then we'll handle it. If it needs any sort of legislative action, we'll bring it back to you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Thank you, sir.
Sorry, what's the actual address of the property?
oh, Minel?
What's the actual address?
Can you speak up, Mike?
I don't know
I'm just inquiring as to the actual address of the property in question.
I don't have the actual address off the top of my head with the developments,
Ask
but
the gentleman. Your address, sir?
What was your address, sir? Yes.
1245.
1245.
Minot.
Thank you, sir. Thank
I
you.
don't want to lose my property.
Okay, we're going to get back to you, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Sugarman, we will be in touch with you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from the public on non-agenda items? Yes, sir. Name and address for the record, please, and 3 minutes speaking.
My name is Arthur Casambas, 1841 Nicholas Drive, Huntington Valley, PA 19006. I'm running commissioner candidate for Ward 2. I would like to thank the commissioners again for allowing me another opportunity to speak. I would also like to thank my beautiful wife, Lauren, and my wonderful daughter, Juliet, for attending, as well as my attorney, Bill Boyston, for their support. Last week, I was reminded about Benjamin Franklin's analogy on democracy, which is about 2 wolves and a lamb deciding what to have for lunch. I can count the heads of support during the last commissioners' meeting, and I knew lamb was on the menu. I did not appreciate Ken Brodsky's friend, Timmy Newman, ambushing me with a completely fabricated story/posting
Mr. Casambas?
on my employer's
we would
Facebook
prefer
page.
not to have any personal attacks. You understand I tried to give equal consideration when you were here at the last meeting.
Speak after I'm done.
Right.
I had no association with that Facebook post, and it has nothing to do with my page. It was posted on my Works page, which was subsequently removed by Facebook for being fraudulent. Timmy Newman does not reside in Ward 2, but he did make a guest appearance during the primary election to visit Ken at the Rydell polls. Having said that, I am appalled that my opponent showed absolutely no remorse or condemnation to this man at the last commissioners' meeting. Timmy Newman, who happens to be a familiar face to many people.
I'd rather keep the politics out of the boardroom.
And our speaking rules are clear. You can address the chair of the meeting, and that's it. We're not using personal attacks.
Okay, well, I'm just proving a point that Tim Newman and Ken Brodsky.
That you're not following our speaking rules.
Okay, well, you know, I just let me finish and then I'll be done. How's that? Once again, I find myself disappointed, and I assume there will be only one civilized campaign, okay, runner, and that's me. He approached me several times about running a civilized campaign and
Okay,
approached
Mr.
my
Casamas,
daughter.
I'm going to have to cut you
Anyway,
off here.
I have one request. Do me a favor, Ken. Do not ever approach my daughter and try to talk to her when she gets off the bus or at any poll.
Mr. Casamas,
I find that very appalling.
Mr. Casamas, please. Thank you.
I find it very appalling that he approaches my daughter and
Sir,
tries to
not
engage her in a
Okay, sir,
conversation.
that's enough.
She's 13 years old.
Mr. Casamas, that's enough. Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Sir?
If I could give this out to the commissioners?
What is it to, give it to the township manager, and what is it in reference to, sir?
My name is Bob Daniele. I'm a board member of the Hunter Soccer Club. I've been working there. I've been there for about 25 years. I've been in here before. Some of you are familiar with that. I'm also the intramural
I'm sorry,
coordinator.
Did you give your address?
280 Waverly Road.
Okay.
I live in Wyncote.
Thank you.
But I'm here on behalf of Hunter, which is in Abington. I'm the intramural coordinator as well, along with Ernie West, who is one of your McKinley teachers. He and I coordinate about 1,000 children from 3 years old to 14-year-old. And there are two items I wanted to speak with you about tonight. The most important, first and foremost, is we had a young man, Robert McIlvain, who played at Hunter for many years, graduated from Princeton University, went to work in New York for Merrill Lynch. Okay? Unfortunately, he happened to be in the North Tower on September 11th and died in that terror attack in New York. So we have spoken with his parents, and we have a bronze plaque that we're going to put on our clubhouse, memorial to this young man. The paper I gave out is a little bio about, well, it's not that little. I don't want to read the whole thing. You can read it. I hope you will. This boy was an incredible man. If you'll see that if you read this. And we felt that we needed to honor him as one of our kids that came through Hunter. And we're just hoping that maybe Hunter had just a little bit to do with the way this boy grew up. So enough of that. The second thing is this Saturday is our opening day for intramurals in Penbryn Park and Renninger and over at Copper Beach. And I'd like to invite all of you to stop in, walk through our clubhouse, which you all helped build. Take a look at all the kids running around Penbryn Park. That's the main venue. Talk to the parents. Again, come through the clubhouse, say hi to our president. I'll be around somewhere there, I guess. I guess that's it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Any other comments from the public on non-agenda items? Okay. And if there are none, we'll start with comments for the commissioners, and we'll start with Commissioner Tom Bowman.
Next week, Roslyn has the annual Fall Festival on Saturday, all day, along Easton Road, near Woodland Road, all the way up towards Bradfield. And hope everyone can come out. We had a good year last year and hoping for another one this year. And also a special hello to Chuck and Marie Rementer at Nick's Barbershop in Roslyn. They are Abington residents. They also own that business in Roslyn, and they've had a rough few weeks, so just a shout out to them and keep up the good work. Thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner DePlacido.
Thank you, President Luker. Just one thing. Please, when driving through Abington Township and all of our red light cameraed intersections, please drive like your kids live here. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Commissioner Farron.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple things. First, congratulations to the firefighters who were granted tonight those awards. It's exciting to see young people being so interested in helping our community. Secondly, I want to remind people about the Oktoberfest at St. Paul's, which is happening this Saturday from 12 to 6. I think many of us seem to forget that there are the number of Germans we have in this country. It is the single largest ethnic group in the United States, close to 50 million people of German descent in this country, and most of us tend to kind of link it down to Oktoberfest, and I would invite you to come here and see all that has the German culture and population has to offer to our country. And then another thing, I just want to remind people, there is a substance abuse educational program taking place this Tuesday, September 19th, at the New Life Church on Easton Road. Substance abuse is devious and insidious and can affect us in so many different ways. This is an opportunity for those of us who might be affected by it in the community to get a chance to speak to others and learn more about what you can do to help those who may be suffering from this. And one last thing, if you are in education or if you have children, you are probably exhausted as I am in the first few weeks of September with school coming back in. I would just remind everybody to take a breath, take a deep breath, remind your kids to take a deep breath. It's early enough in the year that you can communicate with teachers, you can calm them down, you can set up good habits and practices so that they have a successful, healthy, and energetic year in school. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gillespie.
Thank you. First of all, congratulations also to the young firefighters, which is wonderful. We are so lucky to have 5 volunteer fire companies. We are really very fortunate. And also Keswick Village Fall Festival. That's all right. You did St. Paul's, I'll do. Keswick Village Fall Festival is October 7th, and that's a lot of fun. We hope for a nice sunny day, and it's noon to 5 right in Keswick Village. And there will be trick-or-treating later in the month, but Tom will tell you about that next time. And that Oktoberfest at St. Paul's is a lot of fun. You will think you were whatever the word is, transformed or transferred or whatever, over to Germany. It's a lot of fun. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Hecker.
Thank you, President Luker. I just want to make a brief statement. Politics has no place in this boardroom, and that goes for both parties. We, colleagues, we've been elected to represent our residents and advance the interest of the township. And we do better when we focus on that, despite our divisions, our disagreements, and the squabbles that inherently occur as we're trying to advance those interests. And I hope that we can double down on our commitment for that to be the focus moving forward and not the nonsense that happens outside of this boardroom. Thank you.
Thank you. Well said, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner Kalinowski.
Thank you. That was very well said, Tom. I'd like to thank the Residents of Ward 6 and the APD and the Community Police Department that's standing back there, Al Freed, Chris Posey, Lieutenant Warner, and Deputy Chief Pat Malloy for working with my Ward 6 residents on a couple traffic issues we've had, and I really appreciate the outstanding job that the APD has done for the community, and they're so happy that you guys stepped up and really worked with us and addressed issues that needed to be addressed. So I really appreciate that. September 29th is movie night, drive-in movie. Families can come. It's a CAP event. It's a 22nd. Yes, sorry, back there, 22nd. Not the 29th. You'll tune into a radio station on your car. And we have a screen at the bottom of the hill, and we'll be selling concessions and snacks up at the top, so it'll be a great event. October 1st, I'll get this date right, is a bike run. Cat bike run. It's a motorcycle run, 22 miles, I hope that's correct, through Montgomery County, and then back to the VFW for a barbecue cookout. Kel, would you like to talk about Malali Coach Bag Bingo a little bit, or let it go? What date is that?
October 13th.
October 13th.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes. It's Coach Bag Bingo. Women in law enforcement. It's supporting them and Lieutenant Warner is a part of this, and I really hope people come out and support that. Last month, I did have a little bit of meltdown. I want to apologize if anybody took offense to what I said. To bounce off what Commissioner Hecker just said, I truly believe the controlling party should select a replacement. We shouldn't have this squabbling anymore, and allow the chips to fall on Election Day. And I think we should all look at that and move on from this, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Also well said. Commissioner Vice President Klein.
Thank you, President Luker. On November 15th, the Montgomery County Planning Commission will hold its 50th Montgomery Awards, and the significance to the township is this year the Environmental Advisory Council has been awarded the Planning Advocacy Award through the grant application, or through the application that Ms. Waymeyer put forth in front of the Planning Commission. We are honoring the Environmental Advisory Council for all their hard work in getting the Abington Township as designated as a star community. So it's at 5 o'clock, and I invite all the commissioners or anybody to show up. It's an event not only for the planning advocacy, but there'll be awards for other projects throughout the county. So congratulations to the EAC.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Zappone.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank Bob from Hunter for coming out tonight and getting your message out to the township. Also, just a couple other announcements. Ardsley North Hills Athletic Association will be having their opening day for soccer on October 7th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Conway Field. Also, the 7th annual Ardsley Family Day will get underway October 21st from noon to 5 p.m. at the Ardsley Community Center, and the rain date will be October 22nd, Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Spiegelman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Commissioner Hecker, my friend, amen to what you said. A quick announcement. Right here in this boardroom on Monday, September 25th at 7 p.m., the third and final public meeting for the Walk, Park, Train Abington plan is going to be held right here. Anyone who attended the other meetings, it's really absolutely fascinating, and people's input has been crucial to the whole process. So I hope everyone will join us all right here. Congratulations to the newest and youngest members of the all-volunteer family of first responders that compose our Abington Fire Department, and many thanks for all the work that they do. The last couple of weeks been a lot of very difficult situations that have arisen throughout Ward 11 that involved and required the intervention of the Abington Police Department. There are too many individuals to single out, so I just want to express my deep gratitude to the entire department for handling all of these situations with sensitivity and in a very direct and unbelievably professional manner. We are truly lucky that you protect and serve us. And I did want to join Commissioner Schreiber in honoring the memory and service of Larry Jackson as a founding member of the HRC, and also to thank the HRC. They were here earlier tonight for the incredible work that they do. As everyone knows, we've had a lot of incidents in this country of late involving hate, and there have actually been some very close to home, near Montgomery County, in Montgomery County, and unfortunately this week an event here in Ward 11. The work that the HRC does is crucial and absolutely appreciated. And in their own words, the Abington Human Relations Commission will continue to work for the values we believe in, that everyone working, visiting, or living in Abington Township is entitled to respect, dignity, and equal rights under law. And that's something that Larry Jackson fought for. So we honor his memory and the work of his colleagues that goes on in the HRC. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Spiegelman. Commissioner Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. President. No comments this evening.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Rothman.
Thank you, President Luker. I wanted to also congratulate and thank the volunteer firemen and women. It's really great to see a nice young group that seems to be excited about this, so thank you to them. Thank you to Tim Clark for all of the work he's been doing helping many residents in my ward through a few stormwater projects, paving issues, et cetera. He seems to go above and beyond, answers calls outside of even his scope of work when, someone that he helped earlier that week calls him up again. So thank you to Tim. Bob, I just met you a few weeks ago and probably emailed you so much that your server has exploded, but I'm very excited to be coaching 2 teams in Hunter Soccer, and it's really wonderful what you're doing with that plaque. I look forward to seeing it many Saturdays to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Rothman. Commissioner Myers.
I would just like to have everyone remember that in October is our PAL Food Festival on Tuesday, October 10th from 5:30 to 8 at the Philmont Country Club. This year we will be honoring our outgoing and yet founding president, Lou Klein, as well as retired Lieutenant Tom McNamara. The theme is Fabulous 50s, so ladies, get out your poodle skirts and join us for a really great night.
Thank you. Commissioner Bosky.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate that. Just 3 very brief comments. Number 1, I want to thank all the members of the board who have helped ease my transition into this position. Their guidance and thoughtfulness have been helpful, and I appreciate that. Number 2, Commissioner Hecker, personal thank you. Thank you for your comments. They're appreciated. Number 3, a pet peeve of mine is driving on Huntington Pike and watching other people go through school buses which have the red lights flashing. School's in session. Please be careful, not just on Huntington Pike, but all around. Safety of our children are very important, and it just breaks my heart when I see people either speed through school zones or actually disregard buses. Please be careful with that. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Schreiber.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to our new firefighters. And I just want to jump on the Roslyn Car Show Fall Fest coming up that Commissioner Bowman had mentioned and announce to everybody it is a different time this year, so just be aware it's 12 to 5. It used to be a little bit later in the day, so the streets will be closed off earlier than normal. I believe we're closing them at 10. Right? Yes, I see a nod in the back of the room. So 10 a.m. So if you usually go down Eastern Road on Saturday, the 23rd of September, just be aware that road will be closed off at an earlier hour. And some of the other churches, the library, other businesses in the area are participating in the Fall Festival. So please come out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Schreiber. Before I have 3 quick statements to make, but first, Commissioner Hecker and Commissioner Kalinowski very well put the statements that you made this evening, and I thank you both for your comments. First, it's been a very busy summer for Crestmont Park, so I have a couple of things to pass on. This past Saturday was Unity Day, and the Willow Grove branch of the NAACP had a beautiful day weather-wise. They had a good turnout, and I wanted to personally thank Mr. George Wrigley and David Manziger for providing support for that day. Both did a marvelous job, as well as Mr. Van Struthers, who helped, and I want to thank all those gentlemen for their support. On August the 18th, the township completed its first free summer meal program for school-aged children. There were over 150 meals provided at Crestmont Park. So for that, I would like to thank State Representative Madeline Dean's office for staffing the activity, Commissioner Lori Shriver, Commissioner Peggy Myers, Commissioner John Spiegelman, Commissioner Stephen Kalinowski, and Township Manager Richard Manfredi for their support for that program. Hopefully next year it'll be even more a success because we'll have a permanent facility. And lastly, I want to give mention to someone and a group of young people who I don't think the years that I've been on this board never got due mention, and that's the Summer Youth Camp at Crestmont Park. This past summer they had a record attendance with a waiting list before the summer program actually started. I would like to thank Parks Director Andy Oles and Park Superintendent Jessica Tholey for being flexible for operating in the temporary location. If you notice, there was a trailer over at Crestmont Park at the base of the park near Old Welsh Road, and it had portable latrines, and it was a very nice trailer, air conditioned, and they really liked it. But they operated a successful summer parks program, and next year they'll have a new facility. So I wanted to personally thank the names, and I hope I get them all right, that Jessica Thorley was a recreational superintendent for Abington, and she had a camp director, his name was Michael Cahagan. Head counselor was Lauren Peretti, and there were 6 counselors: Victoria Collins, Chris Daly, Sean Henry, Amber Sloweski, Josh Woods, and Brittany Yancey. I think they did a heck of a job, and I wanted to thank them all. So with that, if there's no further business, I thank you all for attending, and if there's no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.